The title of the video, I don't know how you interpreted it, but it might sound a bit rude, It's just pointing out what flaws or what deficiencies you might have as an international medical graduate to find your first job in the UK. But I think this information needs to be out there because, to be honest, this is getting a bit tiring to hear the same old things that we've been hearing for the last, as long as I'm here in the UK. Since I've started, these are the following things I have always come across in the IMG sphere who wants to come to the UK. There is no job in the UK. The UK is very saturated. There is no junior doctor job in the UK. You have to have a membership exam or anything done. You have to have multitude of courses and everything done to get a job in the UK. You have to have long clinical experiences. You have to have clinical attachment, blah, blah, blah. The list is endless. And to be honest, majority of the time, they're not completely wrong, but the way it is presented to the unsuspecting people who's just reading through comments and not engaging or interacting with other people, it gives a very wrong message. And I think this video is probably going to help it to clarify the situation is a bit better. I hope. So let's start. Hi everyone, my name is Ibrahim. I'm one of the doctors working in the NHS. And if it's the first time you're landing on our channel, I hope not, but if it is, then it's me and Dr. Ibrahim. We both are doctors in the NHS and international medical graduates. Together we have created a platform called Road to UK. All you have to do is just go to roadtouk.com and explore the different services and amenities and platform that we created to help international doctors to make a career in the United Kingdom. And we've been doing this for almost 5 to 6 years now, I guess. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not subscribed, and follow us on different social media. We are in Facebook, we are in Twitter, we are in Instagram, and engage with us in social media. So on to our today's topic, getting a job in the UK, right? So I think I would divide this video a bit more conversational rather than just pointing out fingers to you. Yeah, this is the reason you're not getting a job. And I'll be trying to kind of bust a few myths that are out there all the time that you keep hearing it. The first of all that what I'm going to tackle is there is no job in the UK. And I have been hearing it for a long time, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in comparing how IMGs go to other countries, like say, for example, who goes to USA, Canada, Australia, and nobody says that there is no job in the US, but they always come back and say there is no job in the UK, and I never understood it. Let's take a step back again. Yes, every country has their own share of licensing exam, different preparation and everything. But for the purpose of the UK, I feel a lot of people expect that after all of this exam that I passed, the next part of actually coming and settling down in the UK should be a smooth sailing. But unfortunately, job application itself is a process, and you have to know how to navigate this process. Yes, granted, in the UK, applying for a non-training job is not a very uniform or unified system. Like, say, for example, applying for a match or residency program is quite uniform. But there are options in the UK as well. You can directly apply for training program if you know what the criteria and everything is. And to be honest, since 2019, when the legislation changed for RRMT, a lot of doctors directly joined as a trainee in the NHS, and they're thriving and surviving in the training program. Yes, obviously there will be positives and negatives of it, but if that's what you want, that is possible. That's what I'm saying. Again, going back, the job application, especially for non-training, is not a unified system, and it goes round the year. There is dips and peaks of the amount of jobs that are available in the system, because that has something to do with when they're getting more trainees in the role, and then they find out they need more doctors, then they advertise for non-trainees. So yes, there are some fluctuations around the year, but as I said, there is no uniform system. But that does not mean that there is no job in the UK. That statement is completely wrong, because if you look at the data published by GMC, which GMC publishes every year as a medical workforce report, since 2017 to 2022, there's been a huge increase of international doctors getting GMC registered. Now you might be saying that, hold up, you are saying GMC registered, you're not saying getting a job. I'm coming to that point. So GMC, on this latest publication of Medical Workforce Report in 2023, they have given us many more data points to actually point us towards how long IMGs, or even the doctors generally who are getting GMC registered, it's taking them to get a job, because they have published that it's an average of 7 months from the time people granted registration to the point they are deciding, or they are setting a designated body. So designated body is the body who's responsible for your GMC revalidation. So that's your employer. So that's safe to say 7 months. Now ask yourself, have you been in the job hunting seriously for 7 months? Even if you're in more than that, that would say that you are just the outlier and the average is 7 months. So the time that is taking you to find a job, it's completely okay. And that's how it is, unfortunately, because of the non-uniformity and the process of how NHS non-training jobs are applied and interviewed. There is nothing wrong with the number of jobs. There is nothing wrong with saturation. I hate that word, but there you go. It's been thrown around a lot. Yes, the argument is there is a lot of more applicants than before, and every year the number of applicants are increasing. That might increase the competition, but it's not same as saying there is no job. There is more competition for the job that are there. That doesn't mean there is no job. So you see, the focus is not on the system. The focus should be on you. How do I get ahead of this competition? What do I do to get a job? So I think the first very convoluted way, what I'm trying to give you the message is, change your perspective towards this. Like, ignore all the people who are saying there is no job, there is saturation, don't come to the UK. To be honest, if you have decided to come to the UK, then why is that people who has gone to the UK telling you not to come to the UK? That doesn't make sense. So if you have decided that I want to make a career in the UK, I want to take all the exams necessary to get GMC registration, you should be also ready to improve yourself to get an edge on the job application. That's what I'm saying. Now, to talk about why you're not getting a job, I have seen two spectrums of this topic. The one side is that a lot of people are not applying for enough jobs, and the other side is people are applying for wrong types of jobs. So I'm going to talk about this too a bit briefly on both sides. So the people who are not applying for enough jobs, there are some factors associated with it. The first factor being a lot of people are very stringent on the specialty they are applying for. I know, yes, you might have a limited experience of a specialty. So you think that, I don't have any obs and gynae experience, or I don't have any surgical experience. Should I apply for surgical jobs at all? To be honest, to get a job at an FY2 level, they are not trying to hire a super diagnostician, clinician like Dr. House or something. They're trying to hire who can do the job. So yes, I would not say that apply for every specialty that comes in your way. It should be, again, asking yourself, am I ready to do work in that specialty? If the answer is yes, then apply for it, even if you don't have any previous experience in. Because the only thing you need to pass is as an equivalent level of work. So if the even if the specialty work is very ward based, maybe you have a ward based experience in a different specialty. At the end of the day, medical work in any ward based specialty is almost the same, isn't it? You admit patients, you take care of the patients during their inpatient, and then you write discharge summaries. And obviously you're responsible for anything happening in between. So to be honest, across the specialty, this is very transferable. So the first thing is increased diversity of the specialty that you're applying in. The second thing is about being very restrictive and taking the wards in person specification as gospel. Yes, to some extent they do are like, they didn't write essential criteria for the fun of it. But to be honest, if you follow each and every word of the essential criteria, you may not even have like 5-6 jobs to apply for. They write this essential criteria to give themselves some filtering option in their hundreds and hundreds of people that are applying for a job. But your application, even if it doesn't fulfill all the essential criteria, it might end up on a reserve list, which you will never know, but they might call you back if their initial applicants were not successful in the interview, call you back for an interview. That's the threshold of the application, getting a call back for the interview. So I would say don't take all the essential criteria as like a strict thing, because majority of the thing that I hear a lot of people say this, I never applied for any of the job which asks for NHS work experience because I don't have any NHS work experience. And I know you're starting from zero and you're wanting to get to one. Saying that, there is a book by Peter Thiel, 0 to 1. It's a very interesting read. I mean, if you are interested in that kind of genre, I would suggest you read that as well. Going back, yes, putting yourself from 0 to 1 is difficult. And I think maximizing to maximize that chance, you have to apply in as many jobs as possible. Another factor here is geographical constraint. A lot of people want to apply in only specific towns because obviously life outside London is not life at all, right? I'm just joking, but I have come across people because of other reasons that they cannot apply for anywhere else but to a specific region. If those are non-negotiable, then you have to negotiate that it will take you longer to get a job in a specific area if you want to work in a specific area geographically, because it's all dependent on opening up roles in that specific area. So it might take a bit longer than if you cast your net a bit wider than that. So that's one spectrum. The other spectrum is what people are applying for wrong type of job. So I have also seen people apply for registrar level post, specialty doctor level post, senior clinical fellow post when they're clearly not eligible to do so. So understanding the different titles on the job and what role would be from the job description, and seeing yourself whether you would be able to undertake this role is necessary. So we have written so many articles, we have made videos what different job titles actually mean. So you have to understand based on your experience and your professional qualification where in that spectrum you sit, where in that list from a foundation year 1 doctor to a consultant, where do you sit, and apply for those specific jobs. Don't apply for the jobs that are too high and you would feel like, I applied for 10 jobs and never got a call back, and all those 10 jobs, majority of them were for very senior posts and you didn't understand. So understanding the job titles is very important in applying for the correct job. In that same vein, applying for wrong job, I have come across people who says, I went to a job website and searched for foundation doctor in medicine, and they said no vacancies available. So they basically wrote the search string foundation doctor in medicine, and it replied with no jobs available. So definitely there is no job, right? I think it's a curse of Google, because you see, Google knows everything that you're searching. Then they have an idea of your internet activity, what websites you're visiting and everything. I mean, Big Brother is always watching you, right? In that sense, when you put something in Google, there is contextual searching based on your personal data. So what you're looking for immediately comes up whenever you convoluted search in Google. But unfortunately, these websites, track jobs, health jobs, NHS jobs, they're not Google. Their search is very primitive. The way you're trying to search in those websites, you're trying to search in those websites like Google. That's not how it works. So you have to know what do you have to search for. What kind of search string will get you the job listings. It's very contextual. I mean, it's not contextual. It's very literal. So if you search for FY2, it might come up a lot of jobs. But if you search in FY2 in medicine, So if the job title doesn't have all the strings, the FY2 in medicine, it may not come up. So educating yourself how to do the search, how to do the filtering is also necessary for finding the job in these websites. We have a string of videos about how, to set up a job email alert. That's very, very easy way to be aware of when the new jobs of your particularly chosen specialty, particularly chosen grade is up in the advertising world. So you just get an email alert. Familiarize yourself with that, how to set up an email alert for job, what kind of search strings to use for when you are manually searching for job advert, how can you filter. Learn those websites. You cannot expect everything to be Google. And finally, last but not the least, the application itself that you are clicking submit. That application is a piece of you that's going to your employer, right? So it's how you have written it. I have seen applications riddled with grammatical mistakes, with spelling mistakes, with it's a very poor way of showing your knowledge of English when you're applying to work in an English-speaking country. So Dr. Breeze has made a fantastic video talking about the deadly sins or mistakes in your job application. So I'm not going to redo that video here again. Please watch that video and understand the mistakes that you make in your application. But I'm just going to say this. Get it reviewed by someone. If you're not confident in your abilities in how to write an application and everything, get it reviewed by someone. And I'm shamelessly going to plug here that we do run an NHS job application recommendation and review service where we go through your application point by point and recommend you to write it yourself. So I think even if you don't get the service from us, find someone else that you trust that will be looking at your application in a objective manner and basically help you to get the application right. And remember, each and every application is for each and every job. That is the problem and the beauty of NHS job application. I have seen people submitting application for an acute medicine job, saying in their supporting information how they love emergency medicine and how to develop a career in emergency medicine. They're different specialties. Why would you talk about so much of emergency medicine in an acute medicine job? You know why? Because they forgot to change it. They talked about emergency medicine in their past job application and they forgot to change it and then submitted in the acute medicine job. It happens so much. So spending a bit of time making another document in your laptop or computer that this is your job application for acute medicine, this is your job application for emergency medicine, then just copy and paste it. So you have to develop the methods yourself, but you have to do it right. So I think that's it. So I want to end the video with another thing that I think I alluded to in the first few minutes about clinical attachment, courses, and all the other stuff. My personal opinion is those are very individual, specific to individuals. Because when you have long career gap, a clinical attachment might look good on your CV because then you can argue that, yes, even if I had a gap, I have brushed up my clinical knowledge by seeing what other people are doing clinically. But for a person who has continuous clinical experience up until today, doing a clinical attachment adds minimal value to their application because clinical attachment is not a clinical experience. Clinical experience is clinical experience, which is a job when you are a prescribing doctor and looking after patients. So you see this very, very contextual. And also courses, I don't think NHS jobs, when and hiring person looking at non-training role, they're looking at any course or audits or anything like that to that degree where your clinical experience will not come into the big picture. So those are really good to have. Yes, that makes you a well-rounded candidate. If you have the opportunity to do so, definitely. But if you are pursuing something, I would probably say pursue working clinically in any role that you want to do in the US. So that 0 probably would be 0.2 for you, the 0 to 1 that I was talking about. Okay, moving on. So I want to end this video with saying that I hope that this video was a bit helpful in giving you the perspective of the job hunting phase of your UK career. And I hope that I would see some of you as one-to-one on a Road to UK session. But even if it's not, at least this video is out there to help you guide and give you some guidance and perspective. If you have not subscribed to our channel already, even after listening to me up to this far, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and also engage with us in all of our social medias. Until next time, take care.